What's up guys, welcome to Diving Garage. In today's video, we're working on our $500 budget build, and I'm gonna show you how to make sure your crankshaft is ready for those new bearings. Let's dive in. I'm realizing now in the last video, I didn't go over very many of the rules for this challenge. The goal is to stay under $500, but one of the rules is that I can use any part I already have, which is a lot. And then of course, anything that needs to be replaced, we'll replace. But the goal here is to show you guys that even if you have a bunch of spare parts or a bunch of maybe even used parts, you can still rebuild an engine and put it in your rig and have a ton of fun. As always on the channel, the goal is for no machine shop. That will destroy our $500 budget if we need any single thing from the machine shop. So a couple of the videos coming up, I'm going to show you how to do DIY pressure tests so you can check for any cracks in your block. We're going to be pulling out these press-in studs and doing up screw-in studs. And of course, we got springs and a cam for it. And then one of the major things is this is going to be a flat tappet build. So along the way, I'll be showing you how to make sure that your flat tappet lifters survive. So let's go get to that crankshaft. All right, so there are two areas of this crankshaft I want to focus on because these are the things I see the most questions on online. So the first one, this actually is a great example, is that there is a nice little ding in this crankshaft right there. And just in case you can't see it, it's right there in that circle. So I see a lot of people having questions all the time is, my crankshaft has this little ding. Is it trash? Do I have to buy a new one? What can I do? So I'm telling you right now, that's not a problem. We're going to get that taken right out. And the second thing I see is people will have a journal, whether it be a main journal or a rod journal, and they'll catch their fingernail on something like this right here. I don't know if you can really tell, but there are a decent bit of grooves in this main bearing or main journal that I can catch my fingernail on. See if you can. I don't know if you can hear. There's a little ding of my finger hitting that. Anyway, so we're going to be taking a look at that section right there, and that section right there, and I'm going to show you the step-by-step process and how to get this thing all the way ready to drop in your new engine. All right, so the process here is pretty simple. First, we're going to clean it up with some soapy water, a little bit of brake cleaner. And then we're going to use some sandpaper to blend and then polish the journal surface. And then at the end, we're going to get some Mother's aluminum polish and really bring that thing around. So let's get to it. All right, step one, I'm going to grab some soapy water, just give this thing a quick clean. I'm going to come back with a brake clean and finish it off. You might be able to see that ding a little better now. It's kind of in this area. All right, so no big deal there. I'm gonna grab just a little bit of brake cleaner, just make sure we got all that stuff off of there. Oh, just a little bit. Calm it down, there we go. Make sure we got a nice clean surface. Last thing you wanna do is have some sort of junk on the surface there, and then once you try to blend it all together, you're just gonna be dragging whatever contaminant that was, making your problem worse. So there you go, that's looking pretty good there. And then here's the real trick of this whole thing. So since we know we have an issue, I'm gonna go a little aggressive with some 800 for two reasons. Number one, that was all I could find. And number two, it'll work. So it's pretty easy. So grab everyone's favorite lubricant, non-lubricant, throw some of that on there, and then all you gotta do, wrap this guy around. And it's okay if it doesn't make it all the way, but you see how it's kind of binding a little bit? There we go, that's good. What you want is a nice smooth, motion around the whole thing. You don't want it to get caught up, and you don't want the little edges to flare up. You want it to be nice and flat. Anyways, this is looking pretty good. So then, grab yourself some sort of long thing. I just grabbed a t-shirt and cut it up, and then just wrap it around. Make sure your sandpaper is nice and flat. There we go. And then give yourself a nice back and forward motion. And do this just for a little while. And don't freak out about this ruining the surface or removing too much and having to take it to the machine shop. It's not all that, guys. All we're doing is blending. We're really not removing too much material here. Then just go to town for a little while. There we go. After just some quick revolutions, we can see that problem's already kind of clearing up. And then I'm going to hit this just for a little while. All right, so after a couple minutes with the 800, this is looking a lot better. I don't know if you can tell on camera. This one has a nice sheen and a nice finish to it, very smooth. And on this little ding we had, there was 1, 2, 3 sections, and the second and third sections are gone. Like, they're totally smooth. And on the very first section, you can still barely make out the center of it, but it's totally smooth. You can't catch it at all, and that's not going to cause you any issues. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to the 2000, and we're going to follow the same process. All right, now after a little bit of time with the 2000, this thing is looking really good. Yeah, if you want it at this point, you can do another round of the 2000, but I'm liking the way this is turning out. So what I'm gonna do now is get a little bit of mothers. And to do that one, cut up a section of microfiber and put that around, and then we're gonna follow the same process. All right, now after the full treatment, this thing is looking killer. I don't know if you can tell, but there is a nice reflection going on there. This thing is ready for some new bearings. And the treatment did really good. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. And so now, all I gotta do is do that, all the rest of them. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and work on this one and let you just sit back and watch. All right, I can catch my breath here. So this is the main journal that we were working on, and I don't know if you can tell, but it is a lot better. Here we go. Camera lens was a little dirty. But yeah, it is a lot better. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there are still some very faint lines going around this direction, but you can't even feel them. Like, they're just visible. You can't feel anything. So this is looking really good, and I would feel 100% confident throwing a bearing in there, or throwing a bearing onto there and putting it in the engine. And just in case you're curious, I did go ahead and remeasure. I got the micrometer back out, I remeasured it, and it measures 2.298. So if we look back at our reference here, this is why I take good notes. That's the number 4 main journal, and it was 2.299. So with all that heavy sanding, we only took off 1 thou. And in case you're curious, 1 thou isn't even enough to change your bearing size. They do sell them in 1 thou undersize, but all you're doing is adding a little bit of extra clearance, and really there's nothing wrong with that. So you could totally do this process and be just fine. And then just to recap, this is one we worked on earlier. This is one that has not been worked on. This has not been worked on. This one has been worked on and not. And you can really tell the difference just from right here in this frame right here. You can see the evenness, you can see the reflective, you can see how it's just smooth, and this one isn't even close because it hasn't even been worked on. So the process is really easy. All you need is simple stuff you probably already have. Clean it, sand it, lubricate it, polish it, and you're done. That easy, guys. All right, y'all, and that's pretty much it. So you saw a couple of examples of problems you may encounter when you're doing a rebuild yourself, and the things that we normally see and people normally freak out about can be easily fixed. So guys, if you liked the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, get out there, dive in your next project. Catch you next time.